Hi, and welcome to Michael Talks Business, where all sorts of entrepreneurs. We're talking to entrepreneurs here. Hi, and welcome to Michael Talks Business, where all sorts of entrepreneurs give us their advice on business. I'm Michael, and today we're talking to Mira Schwartzburg, who's a holistic nutritionist, health coach, and a dancer. Okay, Mira. Thank you,
Michael.
very, very much for joining us here today.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. So let's start with this. Our audience really wants to know what it is exactly you do. So, because you do a whole bunch of things.
Right. And I've always done that throughout my life, never just one particular thing. Finally, I'm at a point in my life where I was able to find my calling and align my passion with something that is going to be bringing me money. So it's great. So what it is that I do is...
what is it?
I combine my passion for food and I provide holistic nutrition services and coaching to people who want to live life, the best version of themselves, a life that is proactive on health, both physical, spiritual, and emotional. And on the side as well, I teach dance. It's been an affair for my entire life that I've had with music and dance, so I never wanted to give that up. So I kind of try to combine movement with healthy eating patterns. I like to be very hands-on, so I provide meals and I have meal plans.
You make
I cater,
the meals?
yeah. So I make the meals. I have a commercial kitchen. I have some people working with me.
Right.
Together we prepare meals. We do corporate events. We do private deliveries. Basically, I want to take out the thinking and the mode of having to figure out how to eat healthy out of the equation so that people can just enjoy the good food.
You know, when you were telling me your story, I was very impressed. You said that you had this whole idea of what you want to do. You know, you went to school for kinesiology and then all that. And then you at one point decided that you want to do something else and you plunged into it.
Yeah.
Now, that's a very risky thing to do. Do you think it's appropriate and good to, you know, sort of think about the worst case scenario and do something so that, you know, the worst doesn't happen?
Yeah. So with me being very, you know, full of faith and spiritual, I also like to be prepared. So that exactly goes to that point, is that I like to think of, you know, hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Exactly.
And I was telling you earlier, I had the luxury because I don't have children, I didn't have a mortgage, I was able to take advantage of living with my parents at the time when I decided to quit my job and go from corporate into being an entrepreneur.
Right.
And that to me was a risk that I was willing and able to take. But realizing a lot of entrepreneurs could be young mothers or parents or people who have responsibilities, financially speaking, like mortgages or anything. And so for that, I would recommend to make sure you have a backup plan, like something to fall back into, whether it could be a line of credit or a small business loan. And in order to line those up, you just need to be resourceful and look what's available. Because, what I found out is that there's a lot of help available through the government for people who want to start a business. There's programs that will...
You're talking about loans and grants? And
grants, yeah. So if you put your work in and make a business plan, you can apply for a grant through Schulich School of Business. You don't have to be in Schulich or go to York. But there's, you know, grants for entrepreneurs. You can apply for small grants from the government or small loans from the bank. But there's ways around it. I would recommend absolutely prepare yourself in advance.
Right.
Give yourself 6 months to fall back into. If you're thinking, okay, I'm not going to have...
So that you can live off whatever you have for 6 months?
For 6 months.
Everything fails?
Yeah. If there's like zero income, you need to be comfortable for 6 months in advance to allow your business to kind of slowly build itself. That's how long it would take for you to start breaking even, hopefully. That's the idea. So
the number one concern for new business owners is how in the hell am I going to get my first clients?
Oh, I know, because that's been my thing for a long time. So I would want to preface this by saying that, first of all, your business has to be in alignment with your passion, because if it's not, you're going to have a hard time finding clients. Because if you're not passionate and it's not oozing out of every pore...
People feel it.
Yeah.
If you don't love what you do, people definitely feel it.
Like if you're into finance, or if you're not, you're going to talk about numbers and the importance of getting security, blah, blah, blah. People are going to feel it. if I love food and I'm passionate about it, I don't need people's permission to, to talk about it. I'm just going to talk about it all the time, and the right people are going to get into my space.
So practically, how do you go about it?
Practically, word of mouth. Word of mouth is actually the most...
just go out there and start talking about your business, tell everybody
Start with your
about
friends
what you're
and family. Start with your friends and family, with your closest circle. Start... the best advice that I got from a mentor, online mentor, Gary Vaynerchuk, he says... jab, 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 meaning give, and only then ask. Right. So you got to give a lot of content up front without asking people to pay you for this first. Mm-hmm. So there comes an aspect of generosity and doing a lot of work, for free. So in other words, the point he's trying to make, and I agree with that, is that you need to establish yourself as an expert in any field. And you don't do that by asking people to pay you for something. They don't know who you are, where you're coming from. You really need to do your due diligence. And you pay your dues by putting content that is of value out in their community. So whether it's through blog posts or through a Facebook page or vlogs, video... Education. Anything. Just educate your clients and give selflessly without expecting. And believe me, the minute you do that, somebody's going to come and another person's going to come, and it's just going to be a snowball effect.
Is that how it worked for your business when you were starting?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. I was having this conversation with my mom, and she said, well, look at us. We came to Canada, and it started by word of mouth, and I'm so proud of my parents for doing that. If she has been able to do this with her broken English and being an immigrant, how can I look at that and not be inspired? Mm-hmm. And consistently putting out content is what's really going to establish and get the momentum going. Once you have momentum, anything that you have chosen to do for your business, whether it's... making bracelets or doing Amazon online or being a nutritionist or being a coach, which a lot of people are going into coaching these days. By the way, I've tried the online course thing. It's fantastic. Yeah. People should try to combine anything with providing content online. Mm-hmm. It's great. That could be a whole other conversation. But yes, I think it's really, really important that you're consistent with your outputting of content.
This is probably the most important part of the show. Okay, this is for the new entrepreneurs who are just starting out. I want you to give them one or two pieces of advice that you wish you knew when you were starting out.
So that's a really good question. So number one advice, and it's probably the simplest one. And Nike does it best. Just do it. And
just do it?
Just do it.
You can just take the plunge?
Do it. Whatever it is that you want to do, don't overthink it, don't overanalyze it. I personally know how it feels like to be paralyzed by too much, analysis. Paralysis by analysis, I think is the expression.
I think so,
yes.
Yeah. When you
I was in the mode of it's not good enough, gotta perfect my brand. The logo is not quite there yet. Menu, I'm not quite ready. I don't have a storefront. Do it. Go for it. You have something raw, put it out there, and you're gonna see the momentum pick up. If you get stuck in perfectionism, which I was in for a while, you're just going to lose momentum, you're going to lose motivation, and then it's just going to go. So number one advice, just do it. Number two. Number two, and it's really important, I cannot stress this enough, make sure that anything that you do is in complete alignment with your passion, with your heart, with your soul's calling. Now, if you're thinking, well, I think I'm passionate about this now, that's great. If you already know this in your heart. I didn't know until my late 20s, I told you, what my career path was going to be. Mm-hmm. And I felt very frustrated in those years because I thought, come on, you've studied, you should know by now what you want to do. And I still didn't know. And it dawned on me when I started doing personal development. Mm-hmm. I was able to tap into my gut feeling and my inner voice to understand this feels right, this doesn't feel right. So whatever process that you need to go through, whether it's meditation or take 10 days away like I did in silence and kind of figure out what's going on in my head, do that before you plunge. Because if you plunge into passion, to sum it up,
So go ahead, finish.
No, I was going to say, if you plunge into a business and you're passionate about it, you're going to succeed no matter what.
That's what I was about to say. To sum it up, it's passion.
It's passion.
You really have to love it.
You love it. You love it. You have to love it. You have to be in love with it. Mm-hmm. And then you also have to understand there's no such thing as failure. It sounds really corny, I know, But any failure, your mentality about mistakes is that this is an opportunity to improve. Then it leads me to advice number 3, if I may.
Yes, of course.
Something
Do you want to hear number 3?
It's a good one. Trust me, guys, it's a good one. I learned it only recently, and I'm working on it now, and that's called attachment. Do not get too attached to your ideas, because at one point I was so attached, emotionally attached to my brand. I thought it was like my baby, that I was blinded by my attachment for the opportunity of making it something better. So sometimes life is going to show you, if you listen, if you're in tune, life is going to show you that your idea needs to be tweaked. If you're too attached to it and you're too firm on your way of thinking, you're going to miss out on the opportunity to adjust yourself to what the market needs.
I think that's great advice, because in business, one of the most important things is flexibility.
Yeah.
You got to be able to move with your audience.
Right, and flexibility as a dancer to me appeals very much, because you always have to like be in motion and adjust to the partner when you're dancing. So that theme of flexibility kind of was in my life for a while, but I apply it to my business as well now, because you have to really respond to what your clients want. If it's a business that involves other people, guys, and most of them do, you have to really get feedback. Like, if my clients want more this type of food and not this, if they want more food than juices, I'll have to adjust.
Of course.
And if I don't, I'm just going to lose this game. And so don't be attached. Love it, know your passion, but also be flexible, because sometimes there's opportunities that open up that you couldn't have possibly thought about.
Right, but flexibility does not mean that you have to, just because of the wants of your audience, who can be very different people at times, stray away from your core passion and your authentic self.
Absolutely. So that's kind of like not going to the other extreme, which is constantly listening to different voices and trying to adjust yourself according to the different voices.
Yeah.
You also can't be too much of a people pleaser. You need to kind of have a core, like you said, figure out what it is that you want to do mainstream, or like what is the main concept of your business.
Right.
And in that, you're going to be adjusting. But you don't have to lose yourself and become somebody or something completely different just because one person told you this and another person told you that. So find the middle ground is what I have to say. But again, don't get too attached. If you're not attached, then you're kind of constantly evolving and developing yourself. Kind of like your soul constantly evolves, so will your business. And you just need to kind of roll with the punches and show flexibility.
Okay, great. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
I hope you all enjoyed it.
I hope so too. I hope they were able to get some insight.
Definitely. I know I did.
Oh, thank you so much.
So thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
If anybody wants to find you on social media, online, how do they do it?
Perfect. So www.livingprinciple.ca. I'm revamping the website so that people can actually place their orders online, which is going to be fantastic. Okay. There's subscription basis, so it's going to be everything online, digital, kind of like in response to what people want now. So livingprinciple.ca.
Livingprinciple.ca.
Right.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave your comments below. We'd love to know what you're thinking. Until next time.